Have you ever woken up with a heavy heart, without knowing why? There are days when we open our eyes and feel a weight on our soul, a tiredness that isn't physical, a strange sensation, as if the day were full of invisible traps. You try to get up, but something seems to pull you back to bed. It's not just your tired body, it's your soul crying out for help. It's on these days, and perhaps today is one of them, that we most need to remember where our safe place is. It's not about who's on our side. It's not about the money. It's not in control of things. It is in the secret place of the Most High. The truth is that a lot of things will try to throw you off balance in the next few hours. Bad news, difficult people, decisions you don't know how to make, thoughts that slowly drown you. But there is a place where you can hide, a place where fear doesn't reach you, where anxiety loses its strength, where accusations fall silent, where tiredness finds a place to rest. This place is the presence of God. And today, before any notification appears on your cell phone, before the world presses you with urgencies and expectations, you need to remember who the God is who keeps you. Psalm 91 is not a pretty poem to hang on the wall. He is a real shelter, a shield for those who decide to trust. But how can you trust when everything is out of place? You may be wondering. Trust is precisely this: throwing yourself into the arms of God when nothing else seems firm. It's looking at the chaos and saying, I have somewhere to run. Today I want to pray with you. And it won't be just any prayer. It will be a prayer of real protection, based on the Word, with faith, with truth, with surrender. You don't have to face this day alone. You can walk under the wings of the Most High, and there, nothing, absolutely nothing, reaches you without first passing through Him. So breathe. Slow down a bit now, because before the day begins, may God begin in you. Let's go together. If this message has already begun to speak to your heart, don't keep it to yourself. Sometimes, a simple word can be what keeps someone from giving up. Some people are at their limit, smiling on the outside, but waging war on the inside. And what may seem like just another prayer on YouTube could be the answer they silently begged for in the wee hours of the morning. When you decide to stand in faith, even in the midst of fear or pain, something changes within you. It's as if heaven bends down to hear your whisper. Then declare, I choose to dwell in the shelter of the Most High. Not as someone repeating a pretty phrase, but as someone truly seeking shelter, tired of fighting alone, deciding to trust, even without understanding everything. Don't underestimate the power of a step of faith. A simple decision can lift you out of the realm of anguish and place you where God is at work. And what's more, it can touch lives you never imagined. Psalm 91 isn't just about deliverance, it's about relationship. It begins with a choice: to dwell in the shelter of the Most High. This isn't a quick visit. It's truly dwelling, staying, making God the place where the soul rests, where fears melt away, and where peace doesn't depend on circumstances. When you say, He is my refuge and my strength, you are taking a spiritual stance. You are choosing to trust, even when you don't understand the path. It is in this surrender that God's care manifests itself most profoundly. He doesn't promise an absence of struggles, but He promises a constant presence in the midst of them. To dwell in the shelter of the Most High is to live with the conviction that no evil can reach you without first passing through the sieve of a God who loves you. It's knowing that even what seems confusing today can be used by Him to protect you, mature you, or lead you to something greater. Trust. You are protected by someone who never fails. Now it's time to be silent within. Take a deep breath. Lower your defenses. Because we're not here just to hear pretty words, but to enter a spiritual place where the heart surrenders and the soul finds shelter. What we're about to do isn't a ritual. It's an encounter. A conversation with the God who sees you, even when you feel invisible. A dialogue with the Father who knows you in every detail, who knows what you need even before you can put it into words. Maybe you're so tired you don't even know where to begin. But you don't need to have the right words or the strength to spare. You just need to be present, sincere, and available. God hears even the silence laden with pain, and He answers, even when it seems slow. This prayer isn't meant to guarantee a problem-free day. It's meant to remind you that, in any situation, you can be surrounded by peace. Let's join us, because it's in this place of prayer that strength returns, hearts are aligned, and hope is reborn. Holy Father, You are our safe haven, our hiding place when everything around us seems unstable. You are not a distant concept, nor a pretty idea to distract us from pain. You are real, alive, present. You are the same God who parted the sea, who spoke to Elijah in the midst of silence, who stood in the midst of fire with the 3 young men in Babylon. You have not changed. And even if the world says otherwise, we choose to acknowledge You as Lord over all things, including what we do not understand. Today, before anything else, before commitments, rushes, demands, expectations, we place ourselves under Your shadow. We kneel inside, even if on the outside we are still in the hustle and bustle, because there is a cry that comes from deep within us, asking, cover us with Your presence, seal our hearts with Your peace. We give You all that we are and all that we have. Our hearts, so fragile, so exposed to the pressures of this world. Our thoughts, which so often get lost in useless worries. Our body, which carries the tiredness and marks of difficult days. Our home, which so needs Your peace. Our relationships, so fragile, so lacking in reconciliation and wisdom. We also surrender what lies ahead, the decisions we don't yet know how to make, the paths that seem divided into multiple directions, the doors that haven't yet opened and those we're afraid to walk through. We surrender to You the invisible, that which no one sees, but which weighs so heavily on us inside, because we know that the Lord is not only the one who sees, but the one who cares, who supports, who corrects with love, who carries us when our legs give out. We don't want to seek You just as a place of help. We want to seek You as someone who has found a home, as someone who has discovered that there is no better shelter than Your lap. Even if everything falls apart, we want to remain in Your hiding place. Even if the answer takes time, we want to remain under Your wings. Even if the silence lasts longer than we would like, we want to trust in Your timing. Teach us to rest, not when everything is resolved, but now, in the midst of the process, in the midst of chaos, because true rest doesn't come when everything calms down on the outside, but when the soul understands what is guarded within. Receive our surrender, Lord, not as a religious gesture, but as a sincere surrender. We relinquish control, we relinquish haste, we relinquish pride, we relinquish trying to solve everything ourselves, and we declare, You are our God. You are our hiding place. And even if circumstances try to convince us otherwise, we choose to believe, because faith does not avoid pain, but strengthens us in it. And even if the night is dark, Your light does not go out. Even if we are crossing the valley, Your presence is a faithful companion. May this surrender be just the beginning of a day, guided by Your Spirit. A day where every step is taken with courage, not because everything is under control, but because we are under Your shadow. Lord, guide every step of this day. We don't just want to walk, we want to walk in the right direction. There are many paths before us, many voices trying to convince us, many shortcuts that seem easier. But we know, what seems quickest isn't always the safest, and what shines isn't always Your light. Therefore, we sincerely ask, He takes control of our decisions, our route, our movements. May every step we take today be in response to Your voice, and not to our fear, our haste, or the opinions of others. May there be such a lively spiritual sensitivity within us that even in the midst of our rush, we can perceive when the Lord is saying, Not this way. Deliver us, Father, from attacks both visible and invisible, those that come from without and those that arise from within. Danger isn't always found in situations. Sometimes it's in the thoughts we let loose, in the emotions we neglect, in the old wounds that insist on speaking louder than your truth. We ask that you protect us from everything that tries to divert us from you, confuse us, or harden us. There are traps the enemy sets in our path, ill-intentioned words, toxic relationships, advice disguised as human wisdom, feelings that seem harmless but fuel doubt and pride. May your Spirit reveal to us what is deception. May you alert us when something is a trap. And may we have the humility to listen, stop, and change direction if necessary. Protect us, God, from the emotional attacks we can't always identify, from the silent comparisons that rob us of joy, from the paralyzing fear that whispers lies when we're alone, from the expectations we carry without realizing it, and that exhaust us. Protect us also from distractions, for they are sneaky. They enter through screens, through conversations, through the urgencies of the day. And when we see them, we lose time, focus, and purpose. May we not be seduced today by what seems urgent, but guided by what is eternal. We also cry out for physical protection, Lord. May your hands be upon our bodies, protecting us from accidents, illnesses, and sudden diagnoses. May our home be surrounded by your presence, not only the physical place, but also the spiritual environment. May the home of those who pray now be a place of peace, where the enemy has no access, where your voice is clear, where hearts are welcomed. And where there are arguments, may reconciliation come. Where there is coldness, may affection return. Where there is fear, may the security that comes from the Lord reign. Send your angels, as you promised in your word, to guard us in all our ways, even those we may walk unknowingly, even those encounters we never planned. May your presence envelop our every move today. May our eyes be open to the spiritual. May our ears be attuned to your voice. And may our spirit be steadfast in discernment, not to judge others, but to protect what is yours within us. We ask this not with arrogance, but with humility. We know we are flawed, distracted, and vulnerable, but we trust in your goodness, which is greater than our weakness. Surrounded by you, there is no trap that can destroy us. Sealed by you, there is no darkness that can confuse us. Today, we want to walk as one who knows they are being protected, not by luck, but by promise. A promise made by a God who watches over his word and fulfills it, always. Lord, at this moment we lift our voices, not in despair, but in faith. We declare in your presence what we believe, with our hearts firmly fixed on your word. Today, we reject all anxiety that silently tries to dominate us. We refuse to give space to the fear of tomorrow, to that anguish that arrives without a name, to the worries that accumulate and keep us awake. We break, in the name of Jesus, with every thought that robs us of peace and prevents us from seeing your care. May all spiritual oppression that hangs over this house, this mind, this body, be broken now, not by our strength, but by the authority of your name. We declare with living and conscious faith, no evil will befall us. This is not an empty phrase. It is a living promise. It is not an attempt to deny reality, but a choice to trust in something greater than visible reality. We know that pain exists, that suffering is part of the journey, but we also know that we do not walk alone. There is a God who watches over us, a God who sustains us, a God who delivers us even from what we cannot perceive. How many times have we been spared from silent dangers, from wrong paths, from disguised ambushes? You have protected us even when we did not see it. And that is why we affirm we trust in the living God. Not in formulas, not in human guarantees, but in the God who works silently and acts with precision. Your word is a lamp, a shield, a shelter, and it is in this that we stand now. As it is written in Psalm 91, 1,000 may fall at your side, and 10,000 at your right hand, but it will not come near you. What a promise, Lord. What comfort to know that chaos may rage around you, but those under your protection remain standing, not because they are strong, but because they are protected. We also believe what verse 3 says, "He will deliver you from the snare of the fowler and from the deadly pestilence." There are traps being set every day. There are dangers we don't see. There are diseases that spread without warning, but none of these are greater than your outstretched hand. And as verse 4 says, "Under his wings you will find refuge." There is no safer place than this. It is not a physical hiding place. It is a spiritual reality. It is the place where the soul rests, where the heart is calmed, where storms subside. To be under your wings is to be enveloped by something the world does not understand. A security that does not depend on circumstances, a peace that surpasses all understanding. Therefore, we pray with conviction. May these promises be fulfilled today, Lord, in the life of each person here, praying sincerely, perhaps with tears, perhaps with little strength, but with faith. May none of these words fall to the ground. May your care be visible, perceptible, real. May each promise of Psalm 91 manifest itself as protection, as presence, as comfort. And may we, even when we feel nothing, be able to believe, because true faith doesn't need to see to trust. It simply rests, knowing in whom it has believed. Holy Spirit, we surrender to your guidance. Amidst so much noise, so much pressure, and so many voices vying for space within us, what we desire most is to be guided by yours. We don't want to be on autopilot, living by impulse or by the logic of what seems most convenient. What we ask now is alignment. Align our hearts with your will, even if it leads us down different paths than we imagined. Correct what is misaligned within us. Reveal the areas where we have followed our own will rather than your word. For there is no peace in following a crooked path just because it is faster. What matters is not the speed of the journey, but whether we are walking in the right direction, with you leading the way. Grant us sensitivity, Holy Spirit, to perceive your whispers in the details of our day, to discern when it's time to move forward, when it's time to wait, when it's time to keep quiet. May our eyes not be so focused on the outside that we ignore what you want to do within. Teach us to perceive your signs in the little things, in the discomfort that warns us that something is not right, in that restlessness that calls us back to the place of prayer, or even in that feeling of silent peace that confirms we are at the center of your will. We want to be like sheep who recognize the shepherd's voice, who don't get confused with the crowd, who don't let themselves be carried away by any wind of opinion. And when your will seems strange to us, when we don't understand what you are doing, give us the courage to obey anyway, because often heaven guides us along paths that make no sense to the natural eye. And that is precisely where faith is tested. To obey without explanation, to remain steadfast even without visible assurance, to say yes even when everything inside us wants to say no. It is in this kind of obedience that your power is manifested. And it is in this kind of surrender that our lives align with your eternal purpose. Protect us, Father, from the influences that try to distance us from you. There are voices that seem wise, but carry poison disguised as advice. There are environments that seem harmless, but slowly undermine our faith. There are relationships that steal our essence and pull us away from your presence. Free us from distractions disguised as fun, from the normalcy that chills the heart, from the routine that distances us from intimacy with you. Remove from our path everything that blocks your flow. Even if it hurts, even if it costs us, we prefer to lose what is necessary, but not lose your voice. And more than external protection, we ask for internal protection. Protect our faith. Protect our hearts from the hardness, the indifference, the spiritual coldness that comes when we become accustomed to automatic behavior. May we be sensitive every day, not only when pain grips us, but also in the calm, in the routine, on those days when everything seems normal. Because it is in these moments that we often become distracted. And where there is distraction, there is distance. We want to live aligned, attentive, and available. May our plans align with yours. May our dreams submit to your desires. And may nothing within us be greater than the yearning to live in full communion with you. Align us, guide us, speak, and give us ears willing to obey, even when it's not easy, even when it's difficult, because there is no safer place than the center of your will. Lord, I now pray for each person listening to this message, for each soul who, even tired, chose to seek you early in the morning. Only you know what lies behind each face, each silence, each tear that falls unwitnessed. There are those who are struggling to maintain their faith amidst recent grief, those who are trying to sustain an entire household while feeling themselves crumbling inside. There are those who smile at others but cry alone at night, people who woke up unwilling to get up but are still here, asking for a word, a sign, help from above. Reach out, Lord, to those who feel forgotten, those who no longer have the strength to pray out loud, but still carry a timid hope in their hearts. Renew today what is weak. Strengthen those who no longer know how to move forward. Touch where no one else can. May your spirit reach out to this person now, in their room, in their car, wherever they are. May they feel, even in silence, that they are not alone, that the Lord is there, present, constant, taking care of the details no one else sees. For those who are confused, give direction. For those who are overwhelmed, bring rest. For those who are sick, release healing. For those who are afraid, pour courage. May the peace that comes from above fill every empty corner. May there be comfort for the losses and hope for what is yet to come. May your love envelop, sustain, and rekindle the faith of those who thought they could no longer bear it. Because the Lord specializes in new beginnings, and no day truly begins without your presence. At this moment, after all we've prayed, after all we've given and declared, there's something that needs to be established within us. Trust. The trust that God has heard, that we haven't spoken to the wind, that every word, every thought that aligned with heaven has already found an answer in the Father's heart. Perhaps the circumstances haven't changed yet. Perhaps the problems are still there, waiting for us when this video ends. But something has already changed within. Because when the soul surrenders, when the spirit bows before God with sincerity, something transforms, even if it can't yet be seen from the outside. You are not alone on this journey. No matter how much everything seems to be falling apart, no matter how much certainty has slipped through your fingers, there is a God who remains, a God who sees you, who has not lost control, who continues to hold the reins, even when everything seems out of place. And the most beautiful thing is that this God is not indifferent to your pain. He is not distant, watching from afar. He is near, closer than you imagine. He surrounds you on all sides. He goes before you, clearing the way. He comes behind, protecting your back. He walks beside you, holding your hand. He is within you, inhabiting that secret space where even you cannot clearly reach. You are kept, protected, loved. You are not forgotten, no matter what others say, no matter what fear screams. The voice that prevails is God's, and He says, I am with you. His promise is not that everything will be easy, but that you will not go through anything alone. He promised presence, and His presence is enough. There are deliverances happening in the unseen, decisions being shaped in heaven as you choose to trust rather than despair. There are strategies being unlocked, doors being prepared, answers being aligned with perfect timing. Not your timing, with the right timing. Today, you have the chance to live differently. To not rush into the day, but to walk in peace. To not react with anxiety, but to respond with faith. You can be that person who enters a room and carries a lightness, because there is someone greater dwelling within. You can live this day as one who knows they are guided, as one who knows they are covered, as one who understands that the Most High's hiding place is not a metaphor, It is a spiritual reality. And if you're still feeling that weight, that anguish that just won't go away, I want you to remember one truth. Even when you're tired, you can rest in God's lap. Even when you're weak, you can be strengthened by grace. Even when you don't understand anything, you can keep trusting. Not because you have all the answers, but because you have the one who sustains all things. You were made to walk with God, and walking with Him doesn't mean not stumbling. It means that when you stumble, you will be lifted up. That when you fall, you won't stay down. That even if the valley is dark, His hand is there, steadfast, constant, faithful. So leave this moment with a certainty planted deep in your heart. God is with you. And where God is, there is purpose, there is peace, there is provision. The day may be difficult, but you are surrounded. The path may seem long, but you do not walk alone. The war may be great, but greater is the one with you, and He has already won. So live this day with faith. Live with courage. Live as one who carries a promise, because you do. And that promise is, he who dwells in the secret place of the Most High will abide under the shadow of the Almighty. This is your reality. May this truth accompany you every step of the way. And may you, at the end of the day, be able to say, "It was difficult, but I overcame it, because God was with me the whole time." If this prayer has reached your heart, carry this presence with you for the rest of the day. Don't let the rush steal what was planted now. Guard this moment like a treasure, because that's what it's all about. Walking with God in the details, recognizing His hand even when the sky is cloudy, remembering that the strength that sustains the world also sustains you. It's possible that throughout the day, thoughts of doubt, fatigue, and discouragement may come. But when they do, return to this place of refuge. Return to the Word. Return to your hiding place. Because Psalm 91 isn't just a morning prayer. It's a lifestyle. It's living knowing that you are protected by a God who never slumbers, never delays, and never forgets you. And don't forget, everything good must be shared. There are people around you who may be sinking into silence. People who smile on the outside and scream on the inside. And you can be that channel, a bridge between someone's pain and God's comfort. May your life, your words, and your attitude be instruments of peace. Now, rise in faith. Face the day with courage, because you are not alone. And where God is present, there is guidance, protection, and victory. May your day be guided by the Spirit. And may you look back at it at the end and say, "God has kept me. He has been with me in every detail." This is the most precious miracle, and it has already begun.